Let's continue working on our application. For now we have this and we want to build this. Okay, we don't need these two anymore. That was example for previous video where we covered state. So let's delete this. Also, we do not need this custom method anymore, so I will delete it. And we don't need this also anymore. So now we have this. Let's inspect our code, and in this window we have different tabs. Click on this arrow and you will see these components. These components is coming from our React development tool that we install. If you don't have React development tool, please install it. Okay, let's open components, and in this window now we have now we see all of our components. We see this is our main app component, and inside we see item list component that we created. Okay, let's now pass some information to our item list component. Actually, let's pass this for data: spring, summer, autumn and winter. To do this, let's write some data inside our main app component. So let's create array, let's call it items, and inside our items let's create 4 objects, because these 4 objects will represent these 4 items. Okay, let's create first with id 1. Title will be spring, and let's say description will be days are just right. Okay, this is our first object. Let's create 3 more. I will copy this and change it for each one. This will be I2, this one will be summer. Days are, let's say description, days are hot. This one will have ID 3. This one will be autumn. These are, let's say these are rainy, and this one will be ID 4. Title will be winter, and let's say these are cold. Okay, now we want this item property inside state object to pass to our item list component. How can we do that? As we saw in some previous video, we pass data from parent component to child component through props. So we can pass it like here. Let's call this prop items is equal, inside curly brackets we type this, because this is class-based component, this dot state, and let's say dot a name of property. This one is items. Let's pass this property to item list component, and let's go to this component. To access this property, we need to have props between our parentheses. Okay, let's create new variable. Let's call it rendered list, and now we want to loop through this array of objects. To do this, we will use high order method. We'll use map, and Let's map it. This is syntax props dot name of property. Name of property is items, these items, and we want to map through this array of objects. Okay, and for each item we want to return something. We want to return, for now we will return HTML tag. Let's return h2, and we will return item, and what we want from this item, we want this title. Okay, we will return title. Okay, and inside this return statement, we don't need this anymore, we will return this variable rendered list. Okay, let's save it, go to our application, and here it is. Okay, in here we see that we have one error. Let's see what is this error. It says warning, each child in a list should have a unique key prop. What this means? It means that when we loop through array, each item in the array should be unique. We will use ID for this because, as you can see, every object in this array is using different ID. This one is using 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so inside this we will add key, and this key will be item and ID. This ID is coming from here. Okay, let's save it, and we don't have error anymore. Okay, let's see now finished demo of our application we are building. In here we see that these 4 items actually are one component, and in here we are rendering h2. So let's create new component. Inside component folders we will create new component. Let's call it item, and this component will also be a functional based component. First we need to import React as usual. Let's write it as functional component, so const okay, and we need to export this component. Okay, let's return something. And for now let's say item. Okay, let's go back to our item list component. In here now we want to return this item component, and first we need to import this item component inside item list component. We'll do it by this. These two components are in one folder components in same folder, so we import it like this. Okay, now we want to return this item. We don't want this h2 anymore, so instead of h2 we will return item component. Okay, we have error. Let's see what it says. Closing tab. Let's delete this, and here it is. Okay, and now we have for these items that we write in here. We want to pass this item to our item component. We pass it also through prop. So let's say that item, let's call it item, is what is this item. Okay, and we will pass key. Key will be item.id. Okay, so inside our item component we can now access this item prop. We can access with props, and inside here we will say props dot item. This item, this is the props we are getting from here, so props dot item dot type, and close curly brackets. Let's save it, and here it is. Let's now open our components and see. We have our main app component, we have item list component, and we have item component repeated 4 times, and each component have different key. This key is coming from here. From here we pass key as a prop. Okay, in the next lesson we are going to style these 3 components. We have app, item list, and item. Okay, I will see you in next lesson.